Sometimes the words just slip out. You're exhausted, angry, desperate to feel like you matter. So you say something sharp, something cruel. Not because it's the truth, but because you know it'll land like a blade. In that instant, all you want is for someone else to hurt the way you do. That's what I did. I opened my mouth and destroyed the one relationship that ever truly accepted me. My name's Monica. I'm 34. And I'm the woman who told her husband he'd never be the man of my dreams, and then watched him walk out without saying a single thing. I never grew up chasing fairy tales. I didn't have a checklist of qualities or an idealized image of the one. I just assumed I'd recognize it when it came. That sudden spark. That overwhelming pull. That moment when two people lock eyes and the world drops away. But I never felt that with Josh. We met at work. He was the quiet IT guy, steady, patient, always willing to help. I was in sales, loud, driven, constantly pushing myself. He had this way of making me laugh on days I wanted to scream. He noticed when I skipped meals and left snacks on my desk. He saw through my tough edges and loved me anyway. We weren't fireworks. We were calm, steady warmth. For a long time, I told myself that was enough. 2 years in, he asked me to marry him. No grand gesture, no crowd, just us on the couch with takeout and a playlist he'd secretly made for me. I said yes. Not with trembling hands or butterflies, but with a soft certainty, like slipping into a sweater you didn't realize you needed. We married in a backyard, surrounded by friends and family. It wasn't glamorous, but it was ours. And he was a man who would have given anything to keep me smiling. Still, in the back of my mind, a whisper nagged, "This isn't love. It's too quiet, too predictable, too safe." Then came the children, a boy and a girl. Josh became the kind of father people dream about. He woke up for midnight feedings, braided our daughter's hair better than I could, taught our son to balance on a bike. He was present, loving, gentle. Everything a father should be. And me? I started disappearing. I felt like Mom was my only name, like my life had been put on hold while the world spun forward without me. Instead of saying any of this to him, I let resentment eat me alive. I snapped at him, mocked his ideas for date nights, rolled my eyes when he tried. I called him boring. I made him feel small. I used to feel so small. And then I made the biggest mistake of all. One evening, after a long day with the kids, when the house was finally quiet and I was completely drained, he came up behind me in the kitchen. He wrapped his arms around me, pressed his face close, and softly said, "I miss us." Instead of melting into him, I broke. I pushed him away and snapped, "You were never my dream man, Josh. You know that, right?" The look that crossed his face is something I'll never forget. It was like I'd knocked the air out of him. He didn't argue, didn't ask me to take it back. He just gave a small nod and walked away. Not out of the house, not right then, but out of us. He stopped reaching for me, stopped checking in, stopped trying. And that's when I realized how much I wanted it back. The steady, the ordinary, the safe. His arms around me, his silly playlists, his weary but kind eyes at 2 a.m. when our daughter stirred in her sleep. But it was too late. 3 months later, he packed his things. He said he would always be their dad, but he couldn't keep being my backup option. The truth is, he never was my second choice. I just never let myself see what I already had. I was chasing some fantasy, some cinematic version of love. And while I was searching for sparks and grand gestures, I overlooked the real thing, love that looked like hoodies and Sunday pancakes, quiet devotion that never faded. Now I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. The kids spend every other weekend with him. And the silence in my place is heavier than I ever thought possible. At drop-offs, I see him, still gentle, still kind, but with a wall between us that I built myself, with one thoughtless sentence. I told him he wasn't my dream man. But the truth? He was. Just not in the storybook way I imagined. He wasn't fireworks. He was a candle that never burned out. Not sweeping gestures, but a steady love I could have leaned on for a lifetime. I'm dating again now, putting on smiles, making small talk. But when someone compliments me, I flinch. Because the last man who said something kind wasn't trying to impress me, he was already mine. And I let him slip away. The other week, my daughter asked if her daddy was coming back. I told her no. When she asked why, I couldn't bring myself to say. Because mommy broke something she thought would always be unbreakable. I see him healing, becoming lighter, freer. Not dating yet, but different, alive again. I want to be glad for him, and part of me is. But it still cuts deep, because he deserved better than what I gave him. He deserved someone who didn't just need him, but who chose him, day after day. So if you're reading this, and you're lucky enough to have someone like Josh in your life, don't wait until regret is the only thing left. Don't go searching for some illusion of love while standing beside someone who's already offering you everything. And don't let careless words slip out in a moment of anger or exhaustion, because once they are spoken, they can't be taken back. They linger. And no amount of remorse can make them unsaid.